Now, I'm joined now in the studio by Adenike Lucas, who's press secretary from the All Progressive Party here in the UK, and by Godsonodozu, who's chieftain of the ruling People Democratic Party, also in the UK. Let's talk first about Muhammadu Buhari. Adenike, can you pinpoint for me at what point did Mr. Buhari become a committed Democrat?
It was very clear from the onset that he was picked as our candidate, that he was already going to, he was running as a Democrat. You could even tell from the past when he had run 3 times and he had gone through the court to show that he was a Democrat. These are all clear indices that General Buhari has become, has turned a new leaf and is running under democratic dispensation.
But at what point did he decide he was done with military coups and decide he was committed to a democratic process?
Well, we must first understand that at the time when General Buhari was running in 1983, it was almost in fashion in Africa, military regime. And in 1999, when we became when we officially became a democratic system, we took on a democratic system. It was only clear that we would only move forward. And in choosing Buhari to become our candidate, it was inevitably saying to him that we understand that you're a Democrat and you're the right person to lead this change.
Godson, are you convinced by that he's a man who's seen the light and converted to democracy?
Seriously, I'm not convinced. I'm not really convinced, and I'm not really convinced by what my dear sister and fellow Nigerian here is saying about Major General Muhammadu Buhari. You look back to history and you look back to this man that is being projected by most people in Nigeria as a man that has got so much integrity and so on and so forth. You look back to his history in the military and also trying to get into civil politics, you realize that there's one thing behind his agenda. There's one thing behind his agenda, and that is the issue with regards to him coming back to government to kind of avenge some certain misjudgment or misconception of people on him, and those he felt that really made him to be out of government on a very short note. And we are saying...
Well, let's turn now to, we ought to talk about what he's promising, what his campaigning platform has been. I'll come back to you, Adenike. He's campaigned hard and he's promised he's the man who's going to end the Boko Haram insurgency. Obviously, he's a military man, and that's how many people see him. Is the solution, though, to the problem in the northeast a military solution, or is it an economic solution, and a social solution, and a political solution? And if so, what can Mr. Buhari really offer?
May I first start by saying that there's nothing to avenge here. Most of the people that were offended or might seem to have been offended and will not vote for Buhari, even myself, I could be one of those people. I've seen that, and Muhammadu Buhari, our candidate, is a Democrat at heart, and his experiences in the military is rightly and highly needed at this present moment. As we saw how he dealt with the Mississini's back then, he would do the same with the Chibok girls, with the Boko Haram that have kidnapped 251 girls. How can 251 girls be missing and the president for 18 days refused to acknowledge that? That was slow thinking on his part.
My point is that Boko Haram didn't appear overnight. It's a complicated situation, one that has economic, social, political causes. What can your military man do about that?
Boko Haram did not spring out over the night. But can I just say to you that if President Jonathan at 6 weeks could claim to get rid of Boko Haram, how couldn't he have done it over the years? In fact, Buhari has promised that within a few months of being given the mandate to run Nigeria, to lead Nigeria, let me emphasize the fact that he's going to be leading from the front. And the fact that he's leading from the front is a clear example to our courageous and gallant army. That we know what our armies can do. They've done it in the past in Sierra Leone. They've done it in the past in other countries where they have taken the lead. Why can't we do it now? Why our army at present having to buy their own uniform? Why do our army? Why are they running away? Why is Niger laughing at us?
Godson, from the representing from the PDP here, I see you want to come in.
Yeah, what I want to say here is just to correct some wrong impressions here. You asked a question, and that question has not been dealt with. The crisis in the north is as a result of a political and religious misconception of the entire people in the north. You go back to 1983. What led to the coup that was conducted between Buhari, IBB, Abacha, and the rest of them was as a result of an uprising in the north. If you remember, in Kaduna in 1983, the Matasins, who rose, and there was over 2,000 deaths. And that, calculated with the conception of corruptions in 1983, led Buhari and his team to topple the democratic process. If somebody is a Democrat in mind, will not lead a coup agenda against a democratic process. And moving forward, you look at the situation in the north. Up till as at 1999, that's about 20 years after Buhari left government, he had nothing. He had done nothing significant to improve the economic and the social well-being of the people in the north. He can't put anything forward to say, this is the real thing I have done. You go to his community where he comes from in Daura, he cannot point out even a single primary school he built when he was in government for 20 months, when he was PTF chairman for almost 5 years. He can't point one single secondary or primary school building he built in his own village or town in Daura. So one thing we are saying here is that if the North, we know very well, have a system of politics they believe in a feudal system of governance. They have this oligarchy way of life. Somebody must be the prime mover of the society, and the rest follows. But the fact we are saying here is this: generation has moved forward. People are beginning to think ahead of time. Technology have taken over. Science is beginning to begin the dictator of time. But the people in the north are not ready to fix into the reality of time the change of things that are happening in our present generation.
Adenike, I can tell you're raring to come back on this, and I promise we will have plenty of time to do so later. But for now, let's take a break. There's plenty more still ahead here on Africa Wrap tonight.